Yo, yo, yo. Can I do that? Yo, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? I don't know if I can do that. What up? What up, Solar Mike? Let me see something. Hey, hold on, y'all. 1 second. Let me see if it allow me to. All right. What's good, y'all? What's good? Let me see how that go. Okay. All right, y'all got me. Uh-oh. Hold on. All right. Still messed up. Hold on. My bad, y'all. My bad. Anyway, man, what's good, y'all? I just wanted to come on real fast, man, and say what's up to you. Do a quick Q&A. I'm in TH Raw. What's popping? All right, yeah. So what's the word, man? What's good with y'all? Ricky Skizzios. Give me some good news, man. Give me some good news there, y'all. Give me some good news. What's good out there in the world, man? Give me a Q&A. Any questions on anything? I'm in the Q&A mode. I ain't talking about nothing unless y'all give me a question. Give me a question. Can y'all still hear me? Yo. I think we good. What up, Ricky Skills? Say, oh man, my shit been cracking. Man, that's what's up. That's what it is. What up, Solar Mike? Yeah, the Astro Science. What up, Patrice? Yeah. Yeah, I got an Astro Science. I got a class coming up for the ladies only on Sunday. It's gonna be about. It's gonna probably be about a 6 week class. Um, yeah, it's gonna be about a 6 week class to show you how to deal with yourself first, and then how to compare your energies to other people, so you can see how much positive energy is in the relationship and how much negative energy is in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Man, with Venus going through the 10th house, that's an excellent time for promo. You know what I mean? Because Venus is like beauty and aesthetics, and it's a very good energy. So people are going to feel what you have to say. So that's like the excellent time to be seen. It's a perfect, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Venus in the 10th is like it's like a great window to do public campaigns, man. Oh man, Scorpio and Venus, man. I'm not a fan of that placement at all. Um, However, you know, I'm gonna back up off that. Scorpio and Venus could be a very intense lover, very loyal, right? Um, very loyal. And so I think you have to. Hey, peace, man. I think you have to. You have to figure out what is loyalty to you, and then you got to remember Scorpio is about combining the money. It's where you come together and it's joint finances. It's what we share. You know what I mean? So if there is no financial vision, then all things perish due to a lack of financial vision. All right, that's my motto, for real. So, you know, you gotta make sure that you know there's some type of what are we bringing together. Scorpio demands that we bring it together and we mesh it and we share. And so let's be super clear on that. and be clear on what you bring to the table, because that's you a half of that. So if you're not clear on what you got or what you want to have and working towards that, then you may be in trouble. You know what I mean? Virgo man, Aries woman. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Um, I think there would be some other things that would support that union, but on a Virgo man and a woman, that Aries woman, like Aries woman to me is Juju, Cameron's ex. You know what I'm saying? Like I think she's the prototypical Aries woman, fiery, ambition. I, Aries women should have that ambition. They got that fire, that get up and go, that spark. You know what I'm saying? The Virgo is more of the one that is more earthy, that can be an analyzer of things, study long, study wrong. You know what I mean? Aries could lack patience because it wants it right now. Very, very impulsive. That's the battering realm, though. While everybody else is scared to go, Aries is like, no, I'm gonna kick the door in. I'll go first. I ain't afraid. So that's a very pioneering spirit. So you got to learn how to mesh that analytical mind. Learn how to mesh that critical critique, and those two blend together. And you're dealing with fire and earth. So what happens when there's too much fire to the earth? It'll burn it, it'll scorch it. And when there's too much earth to fire, it'll put it out. So y'all gotta walk a very delicate balance between you two, to figure out what that passion is. And I think it's gonna be work related, because Virgo is work, 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 work. I always say you would never outwork Michael Jackson, Beyonce. You can forget it, buddy. Right? Because Virgo is a sign of repetition over and over and over again. And then Aries is the pioneer. And so, if you can marry the work and the pioneer vision and figure out what y'all bringing to the table together, then that could be great. You know what I mean? That could be a great combination. Aquarius and Leo are the opposites of one another, so they represent the balance to one another, and that could be a great thing. But oftentimes that conflict or that opposition represents conflict. Energetic wise, again, they complement each other, because fire is Leo and Aquarius is air, and fire needs oxygen in order for it to exist and whatnot. So there's this great chemistry that takes place. But since you're in opposition to one another, you come into conflict. The key with this thing here, dealing with the opposites, if you really understand where you live at, you live in a place that's represented by a circle. So it takes about 365 days to go in one circle around the sun. And this is very important to understand, because on this orbital track that we exist on, people who live on the other side, the opposite, they got this half of the circle and you're from this side of the circle, and together, when y'all come together, y'all complete a circle. And so therefore y'all complete in a unit. And this is very big to understand that. and what you got to understand, in the middle of the circle, and so you can't see, I always got to teach it on the wall clock. If you imagine a wall clock, and let's just say the in the smack dead middle of the wall clock, the pin that holds the two hands together, that's where the sun is. So let's just say hypothetically, you're born when the earth is at 9 o'clock, and then your partner is born when the earth is at 3 o'clock. So both of y'all can't see through the sun. So like right now, when the sun is outside, you can't even see stars. You can't see planets. You can't see nothing, because the light of the sun is too bright. Okay? So you can't see past that portion, past the sun. And so when you on this wall clock model and you go around the corner, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, because those are the halfway points. If you're at start at 9 o'clock and you look at 12 and 6, those are the halfway points. So you can't see the other signs on that side. And so in real life, what happens is this: outside right now, from the eastern portion of the sky to the western portion of the sky, there are 6 zodiac signs that are visible, and there are 6 that are not visible. That's a fact. So you can only see half. So my point is, the person that's born on the other side has the other half of the circle that they can see that you can't see, and vice versa. So you're really supposed to learn how to bring those two together. You're doing really good in life. I can tell you who I got something called the cosmic twin flame that's based off of experience of understanding this. There's something, if you can find the person who is, look at your chart, go to astro.com, throw in your own birth chart. Look at the degree of your sun. Okay. So if your sun say 0 Virgo, you 0 Virgo. Mars is 27 degrees, 59 minutes, Aquarius. So if I could find a 27, 28, I would say give yourself about 2 degrees, 27, 28 degree Leo, then particularly that person is my cosmic opposite. And so learn your chart and see if a person is directly your opposite by degree. And they got about 2 degrees. So if you 26 degrees Aquarius, then opposite 26 degrees Aquarius is 26 Leo. So then I can have 24, 25, 26 degrees, or I can have 27, 28 degrees Leo. That's within 2 degrees, called an orb, a 2-degree orb of my 26. 26 is dead on. So you may find somebody that's 27, and that's fine because it's still directly opposite. And when you find that direct opposite, especially within the opposite gender, then you have vibrated to a point in your own evolution, cosmically speaking, that you have met your cosmic mirror in this reality. Okay. And also what will happen is people, family, and friends will have the same names as well. And so it will be because it's a twin. That's what twins do. Twins have mirrors of one another, something that look alike and whatnot. But just to give y'all that, pay attention to looking at the opposite so you can see. You know what I mean? See if you ever vibrated to get that. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? Gemini man 28 degree, and then what? Scorpio man 8 degrees. Okay, so are those two different people of interest? Gemini and Scorp. You know what I mean? Scorpio woman. So yeah, Scorpio woman. Man, that's an interesting dynamic. I know it's something else that's driving that relationship. That's not too bad. Ain't too bad. Scorpio is very versatile. It deals with forensics. It deals with hidden truths, what they call occult sciences, and things of that nature. Then Gemini is the sign of intellect itself. And so this could be a very intellectual relationship. Conversations need to be had about mental growth. You know what I mean? Mind stimulating things and whatnot could definitely do it. But typically speaking, Gemini is a sign that could go for a little bit more freedom than the rest of the signs. The perfect Gemini energy, I think, was Prince. It was like shit, he rode around with a bunch of bad women. Like that was his thing. Gemini, Aries, Aquarius, and Sagittarius are the 4 signs that can go for a little bit more freedom or something unorthodox in a relationship. So Gemini to a degree, but that's generally speaking. So you got to remember, if you got Venus in the 7th house, Mars in the 7th house, it'll start to override that general rule because you got planets in the western hemisphere in the sky. The western portion of the sky is this portion of the sky that deals with relationships. So therefore, you would have more relationship Libra type of tendencies, although you're a Gemini. So then this oxymoron will start to kick in. You want freedom, but you also have this form of attachments and whatnot. So you got to look at it in totality, but I would say with the Gemini Scorpio combination, there absolutely needs to be some type of intellectual pursuit going on. And with that Scorpio trait too, because it represents joint finances, you gotta be able to have some type of joint goal, because this is where we share money at, right here. That's the eighth house period, and it's like we all got that, because we all gonna have to come together with somebody at some point in time, and when we do, we still need to know what's up, what you bring to the table, type of deal. You know what I mean? So it could definitely work. That could work. All right. What does Moon conjunct Pluto? Excuse me. So, the Moon conjunct Pluto, that could be the death of a family member. That could be mom is a power hungry person, um, manipulative even. Worst case scenario. Um, this is Pluto energy is very dark, manipulating and controlling. Um, the moon represents a woman, so it could be women that you're attracted to, or it could be your mother. Or the moon represents your emotions, so it could be when you get emotionally charged up, you can go into the dark place. Um, because it's like that's like black magic in a sense. It's a negative darkness. Um, it also could mean through some form of death, which could be literally be physical, that is necessary for your inner transformation to take place. Um, Pluto and the moon then can give way to a very, very sexual, transformative person. If you're a male, then you could like porn stars. Um, if you're a woman, it don't even matter what gender you are. If you feel an emotional connection to sex, then I will beg you to explore more of the sacred arts of Tantra from India, or Taoism from Asia. If you wanna, if you like really a sexual being, because Pluto is sexual urges, and then the moon is there. So you absolutely have to find your constructive, creative, sexual outlet, because that's a dark marker, and that could come back through the form of rape and abuse, that you could have had experienced that. But since you got that cosmic DNA, if you have children, you can pass that thing over to your children, who would carry those same cosmic markers, and thus they may undergo some of those. Oh, you can't hear me. The children can undergo some of those traumas, because you carry those markers. So the moon and Pluto, you want to definitely find a very constructive sexual outlet, if that's an issue for you and whatnot. You got to be 100% comfortable in your sexuality. All right, and then it could be again power control, manipulating women, or you can do that when you get emotional and whatnot. But I think more the high side of it is for you to understand the power of emotion, and using that for greater good and whatnot. All right. Cancer ascendant in the first house, in the fourth house. The ascendant marks the first house. Cancer naturally rules the fourth, but I don't know about that. All right, so Cancer and Scorpio. I mean, they typically should get along, but again, it's other stuff that's going on, right? You got Mars and Taurus that could be agitating the hell out of somebody right now. The Scorpio, you know what I mean, like the Scorpio, and what Mars is in the sky right now, like Scorpio is getting agitated like hell. All of the fixed signs are getting agitated right now. Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. Watch out for agitation right now, because Mars is in Taurus, so therefore it's going to square, it's going to square Leo, it's going to square Aquarius, and then for the Scorpio, Mars is in direct opposition to you. So this is a time where you can actually be in an accident right now, have some type of head injury, fights, burns, bruises, you know what I mean, things of that nature. So for the Scorpio, I know the Scorpio is under pressure at this particular point because just based off what the position of where Mars is in the sky right now. So you got to be able to transmute, man. You got to learn how to transmute, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that is just real, man. You know, the fixed signs, again, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius are under severe pressure right now because Mars is in Taurus, and so therefore we're gonna have some pressure, anger issues that are likely to surface. All right. I'm a Pisces and I'm concerned with what affects the supermoon for me. All right, so what happens is, so with the supermoons and stuff, you just want to know, hey, moon came in at, let's hypothetically say, this was a full moon, right? So we in Aries, so let's say the moon came in at 2 degrees Libra. I want to look at my birth chart. Do I have anything at 2 degrees Libra? When I was born, no, I don't have nothing at 2 degrees Libra. I want to make sure that my houses are not even on 2 degrees Libra. Nope, I'm good. So therefore, I don't have nothing sitting there per se. So now it's not going to come in and hit that spot. It's not going to activate anything because I don't have nothing there when I was born. So that's just kind of like a void space for me. So you want to make sure if you know that and see if you have any planets in these areas of space where these supermoons and eclipses are taking place at. Because if you do, then that planet involved will be the theme of what you're likely to see in your life. So if it's Venus, you can bet your behind it's going to deal with something with a relationship or women. If it's the Sun, it could be authoritative figures in the male. It could be your father. It can be, a supervisor. If it's Mars, it's going to be some type of anger issue. If it's Pluto, it could be something dealing with power and control, right? If it's Saturn, it could be another authoritative male type of figure as well. And so if it's Mercury, it could be your brother, a sister, a sibling. And so you want to see if you have anything on these spots, because if you don't, usually it's four things that you want to look for, right? You want to see if you have exactly something to that degree, if where that planet is taking place or the supermoon is taking place. That's called a conjunction, meaning the supermoon is going to conjoin to where this planet was when I was born. Then you want to see if you have anything in direct opposition to it, because that's called opposition. And you can feel opposition. That's a straight line of space. So it's kind of like a standoff. And then you want to identify 90 degrees to the left and 90 degrees to the right, called a square. So let's bring it in. Let's just say this supermoon took place at 3 degrees Libra. I don't have nothing in Libra. Well, what's opposite Libra? Aries. Do I got anything at 3 degrees Aries? No, but I do got Venus about 11, 12 degrees. So, okay, I got something in opposition. Okay, do I have anything in Cancer? Because that's a square. Nope. Do I have anything in Capricorn? Because that's a square. Nope. All right, so I only got something in Aries. Cool. Then I need to pay attention to the opposition and because see, the opposition and what's coming at me from the two squares, these are the things that represent conflict and things coming at you sideways in your life. So therefore, since I know my square points and I know my opposition points, I should be straight, right? So like my opposition point, Venus, relationship. Okay. So when I go back about 2 months ago when Mars is in Aries, and I know I got Venus in Aries, then Mars could represent anger, Venus could represent a marriage partner. Then I can be like, oh, okay, now is the time where marriage partner, or we get mad at marriage partner, or marriage partner get mad at me, or whatever the case, something about a partnership and some anger. So let me fall back and just see how that goes, right? So now when the situation presents itself, it's all about how I respond. because I'm telling you, these planetary energies are like gods and goddesses who play these games, and they record your all of our vibrations get stuck in space. All right, you do it every year called a birthday, and you walk around with money pinned on your shirt and you celebrate every year. That's a good vibe that you give out every year. When the earth and the sun is in this particular same position, every year you do it. You don't celebrate it no other time until the earth get exactly right here in this one spot. Okay, so trust me, space is intelligent in recording our energies of behavior patterns, good and bad. And so how you respond to things make you the alchemist, is because that's going to determine if it's going to be good or bad. You get a right to do that. Okay. And so, but to answer your question on the super moon for the Pisces person, you have to look in your chart and see if you have anything in a straight line with that and exactly to the sides to that. All right. Those are your major aspects as far as where friction will come from. Then you got trines, right, which is represent the good stuff. So if it came in at 3 Libra, then which 3 Aquarius and which 3 Gemini? Because those are trines. These are the same element. This is an air element. So for me, I got Mars at 5 degrees Aquarius. And so therefore, if this moon came in Libra, it's putting off a very nice energy to my Aquarian flow. And so now this is a supportive thing. You see what I'm saying? And so you just got to learn how to be able to measure this stuff, because it means different things. You know what I mean? So it means different things, man. So the orbs, man, it really depends. I like tight orbs. You know, I like 2 degrees tight. You know what I mean? But it depends what you're looking at. You know, because this stuff do a domino effect. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, in Aquarius, I was born with Mars 5 degrees, Mercury 8 degrees, the moon is 10, and the sun is 27. And so if something may not be in opposition to one thing, but it's in opposition to the other thing, but the thing that it's in opposition to, those things is like right next to each other. So I know by proxy that if you're messing with one, you're messing with all of them, irregardless to you're not in opposition to the last one. But I know that the first one that you're in opposition to stands directly next to this one. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You and your partner, you know, y'all walking down the street, or y'all next to each other, and then somebody start messing with your partner, but it's like messing with you because you right there too. You see what I'm saying? And so, although it's not technically you in a sense, it is you because y'all together. You see what I'm saying? And so, I like the tight orb, but it just really depends on what I'm measuring, what I'm looking at, and I understand that. I call it the domino effect. That, hey, this thing is really triggering that too. You know what I mean? Because that happens. Do I think Harati herb heightens? I don't know nothing about that herb. I never heard of that herb. I'm not a herb person. I have no clue. Daughter 11-year-old, Scorpio, Virgo on the ascendant. So Virgo on the ascendant. So that would, I wonder if that would give her a second house sun. If that gives your daughter Maya a second house sun, that's pretty dope, because then that's going to be dealing with some finances. So it's absolutely imperative that you help your child understand finances. And again, Scorpio trait is financial as well. What do I feel about mirror candles? Nick Gurr is my biggest fan. What up, Nick? Nick, my biggest fan. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Nick Gurr. Really appreciate that. Mirror candles. I'm assuming mirrors and candles. Hey, man, I think whatever works for you works. Candles in all ceremonial things are used to increase the height of your attention. So when you know what I mean? It's like setting the mood for a romantic date, right? Like we can just go to the motel. Ooh, you may not like it. You know what I mean? What Jay say? Go to the hotel with the dirty ceiling fan, right? Like, you know, that may not do nothing for you. But now if we go to the Ritz Carlton and it's nice and I got, you know, rose petals laid out and champagne and all that good stuff and the bubble bath and the candles lit and right, like it's changing the mood, the environment. And see, that's what I'm talking about, this 21-day poverty challenge joint that we got coming up. The environment stimulates DNA. So what the candles are doing is it is making you have razor sharp concentration on whatever it is that you're focusing on. You see what I'm saying? So those things are necessary if that helps you reach your heightened state. But in that of itself is not the magic. The magic is what you have inside of your mind. And what you're doing is the magic. The candle is not the magic. The candle is just it's just an amplifier in a sense. You know what I mean? All right, so Moon sextile Neptune is dope. Anytime there's any Moon Neptune combinations, this is going to make way for a very intuitive person. Okay, so intuition, spirituality, dreams, things of that imagination, things of that nature, you need to absolutely exercise them. And you should have a spiritual woman, if you're a man, a spiritual woman in your life. If you are a woman, then, you know, really stay in tune with that sixth sense that you have. I love Moon Neptune combinations. They are freaking mystical. It's just very clairvoyant and psychic. You know what I mean? The negative aspect could be lies, deceits from women. So you may want to watch that, or you could do it to women as well. Something about lies and women and whatnot. I don't have a spiritual woman. Yeah. The world needs one, right? And so, yeah, that's what the moon sextile that will be, man. I like that. Like a portal. Yeah, it is a portal. Using the ceremonial energy as a portal. I got Sun 3 degrees Aries opposite that moon. Right. So now, if that moon was 3 Libra, I don't know. I was just hypothetically thinking. But if it was, and you got what right there? You got the sun. Okay. And so then you got to balance your male female energies. And so if you're in a relationship, this is a time to go on a date, show appreciation, because that opposition of the supermoon could be like, okay, some woman is at odds with you. And so this would be a perfect time to just kind of hit the reset button and do appreciation, I love you dinner type of feel. And the same with mom as well. You know what I mean? You got to balance the male female energies. So you got the internal balance, which is your own emotion. And then you got the external balance with doing physical things like, hey, I just want to take you out to dinner and say I appreciate you because we ain't been out in a while. You know what I mean? And this is what I do in my Star Network for people. You know, they get a monthly report the next month. Like in a couple days, I'm gonna generate the next month report for them. And my job is to scout out the future of that month and to say, oh snap, you need to balance male female energies, because if you don't, it's going to pick up on you, and it's going, you know, it's some drama that's trying to come. So the best way to circumvent that is to try to do something nice before that wave of energy gets there. So you got to beat this stuff. As they say, a wise man conquers his stars, right? All right, so the poverty challenge, I just made a video. I'm going to put it up yet, but I'm going to put it on the other channel, on the Prosperity Investment Group. But the poverty challenge goes like this. One, DNA is not hardwired, okay? We don't have a set genetic code and we're forever stuck with that. That's not true. Epigenetics has now shown that the environment has an influence on behavior. I'm going to go a step further. It's not just the environment. The key thing is it's your perception and belief of the environment that has that is shaping the DNA. Okay, and so if you never saw mommy and daddy deal with finance, like I never saw my mama with more than $1,000. I know she ain't never had 5 racks in her life. I know. That's a pretty damn good guess. So I never saw my parents with financial wealth. I saw my father invest in mutual funds and have some thousands. You know what I mean? Um, but I've never seen financial wealth. So we're going to inherit that, right? Because you do inherit genes from your parents without a shadow of a doubt. But we're inheriting poverty habits. You don't make too much more than what they have. You know what I mean? And so the whole purpose of the challenge is for you to understand the power of your belief, power of your perception. See it in science where I'm gonna show you where these stem cells, the same, they was cloned, so they was all the same stem cell. And literally by changing the liquid solution in the petri dish, one became muscle, one became fat, the other one became tissue, or maybe bone, I think it was. And same cell, but different environment, it creates a different response from the cell. And so we got to reformat DNA through what we believe, through imagery, and every night, and I mean every freaking night, you're to listen to a guided meditation. And this meditation is so dope, with the right sounds, and it even got money counters in it. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up. It's money counters because you got to go to put some money up in the money counter, and you're gonna hear the money counter spit them racks out. And it's to reshape the format of your memories and what's taking place. So once you do that, you start to change the belief. That's just the beginning. The real work comes what you do in your daily life, man. I can't express that enough. Um, you're gonna see me post a video today about this, and you're gonna see Coley Cole gonna come, and she got a $1,500 testimonial. She did the technique like on a Friday, and like a Thursday, Friday, and 2 days later, she gets a check in the mail. Unexpected. But as I said on the video, y'all guys seen us do that kind of work for years. That don't impress me, man, because it's not enough money to change your life. And I believe people get stuck on the magical aspect of manifestation and not stuck on loving or even identifying what your wealth vehicle is and falling in love with that to be the great manifester for you. So instead of getting random checks in the mail that shit, you be broke in 1 month after you spent on some things, right? It would just be better suited if you could draw in more clients and more finances as it pertains to the vehicle that you're in love with. But you got to be able to find what that vehicle is. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about that as well inside of there. But the gist of it is you reformatting your own DNA and removing the things you didn't see, mommy and daddy and financial abundance, and replacing that with, they are in financial abundance. Because the mind only knows what you think about to be real. This is why you can think about something and get mad, and you can think about something and get happy. You're not in that experience anymore, but your body is responding to it as if you are. And so the way that the mind works is every single thing you look at is real. This is why I don't like looking at disgusting stuff. I don't like, we got this thing like, don't tell me nothing grueling. Me and you stop each other all the time. If I'm about to tell him a story about abuse, man, don't tell me no more. Don't tell me no more. And the same thing, man, I don't want to hear no more. Don't. Because the way the mind works is you start to conjure up imagery to fit whatever the story is that you hear. And if you know how the mind works, you don't never want to do that. You don't never want to watch horror movies. You don't never want to do none of that kind of stuff, man. You need to be focusing on abundance and wealth. And I know from last year when I rented a mansion in Fort Lauderdale, we were paralyzed we couldn't even. We thought we was gonna be talking about stuff. Man, you ain't thinking about talking about science and that kind of stuff that we be on when you inside of a freaking mansion with pools and yachts in the backyard. Literally. You know what I mean? Like we was just immobilized. We was just stuck in awe because our own DNA was being reformatted from a beautiful environment, marble floors and all that stuff was taking place. You know what I mean? So that's what the challenge is in a nutshell. You know. Excuse me. All right. Yeah. Universe is mental. So the moon trines the midhaven. You should look for female support. Um, because the midhaven is career. But look for female support. They could easily assist you in helping you become successful when doing public ventures. Is the moon trine that or mommy? It plays a nice role inside of your career and success as well. Mars and Libra in the seventh house for a woman. All right, Nina 513. Um, that's attracted to a warrior type of thing. My daughter got that. One of my daughters have it, so I watched that marker because she's young, and so that's potential getting in fights, physical. Because Mars is physical combat. Because Mars represents a man, and then the seventh house represents marriage. So you tell me what it means. I mean, you could be in a relationship with someone and get into physical combat with somebody and get in a fight with men. And so I'm not necessarily a fan of that marker. Um, but it also means you could potentially like the athletic type as athlete. But you need to be, it needs to be a masculine energy that is very well disciplined in their physical disciplines. And under no circumstances do you ever, and I mean freaking ever, put your hands on a man. Because Mars in the seventh house denotes that a man can slap the shit out of you and beat you. Okay? So under no circumstances do you be the first person to fight. Now I believe in defense for sure. But he did something to you, you cannot attack. You can't. Because that also represents that you could be abusive towards your partner as well, and then it just turns ugly. So I'm not a fan of Mars in the seventh without you having foreknowledge of what the worst case scenario could be. But the best case could be is Mars in the seventh for a woman. Your man may feel like he got to compete with you, and you just got to watch the caliber of the man because the temperament of the man is going to determine how that energy comes out. I'm competitive and I like it, but I like it if we can work out together, get a six pack together, and go crush the world and conquer the world together, type of feel. You know what I mean? Not petty because you made X Y Z and I'm feeling salty about it. Not that kind of petty competition. You know what I mean? Um, but you gotta find a physical outlet. Bump the meditation. It wants a physical outlet of how to drain that energy. And it's the type that Mars in the seventh for a woman, it's like your husband, your partner is a physical trainer or he's in great physical shape. Both of y'all wake up an hour early, y'all hit the gym and work out, and then y'all go off to work and y'all conquer the world. And y'all got this dynamic masculine energy that wants to just go out and conquer. That's what y'all have to do. Because if you're not doing that with Mars in the seventh, you're gonna eat a man up physically and or verbally, or vice versa. They're gonna eat you up physically and or verbally. So you got to make sure that you got a positive yang masculine goal when you got that marker, Nina. All right, because then you're gonna have to pull out your Nina on a nigga for real. All right, all right. Yeah, you need a go getter, man. You know what I mean? Mars in the seventh is a go getter. That's a boss. That's your man. You're looking for your man, your partner to be Oh, wake up. Let's go. Move, 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 move. That's Mars, man. Mars. Gotta get it. You know? All right. Mars and Virgo in the second house, woman. Mars and Virgo, man. I mean, it's the passion of the money. Don't study long, study wrong, and get analysis paralysis. That's Jay Electronica, right? You probably listen to the music so long and you want to perfect it that you get analysis paralysis. You don't do nothing. So Virgo on the second is great because it gives you the ability to analyze finances. You can be an accountant, a CFO, not necessarily the CEO. Not saying that you can't be, but you could be the CFO for sure. So it's a great ability to analyze finances and conquer in the realm of financial well-being. And so I like that marker, Mars in the second house in Virgo. Get your work on, get your money on, and drive it. Like you really need a money goal. But everybody need that anyway, though. But you really need it. When you got second house placements, there's no denying it. You gonna have to deal with it. You gonna, especially Saturn in a second. Oh, you can do all the mystical stuff you want to, but you gonna have to come back and you gonna have to deal with this accumulating finances. Um, oh man, Venus conjunct at Midhaven makes you very. People find you trustworthy. They find you warm. They find you beautiful. They just find you as being great. Venus on the Midhaven is perfect people who can do public crisis interventions for people and do public relations and clean up shit. You know what I mean? So Venus on the 10th makes you very, very appealing to people. I got Venus in the 10th. You can be very appealing to people. The people just feel you like, man, you warm. I like what you do. You know what I mean? So Venus on the 10th just gives that away. It could have something, it could be a career related to Venus. It could deal with courts. It could deal with beauty. If you into the beauty thing, then you definitely got to hit. You should be doing something with that. But I like Venus on the Midhaven. Very popular, man. Very popular. Public opinion will always sway in your favor. It's kind of like a protection thing that's there. You know? Oh snap! I didn't know how I can do this for Android. I gotta learn how to work this. Got another question? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. So, I must gotta tune it in. Sun, Jupiter, and Cancer. Okay, Sun, Jupiter, and Cancer. Moon. I'm a cat. Mars in Virgo. Cancer woman. All right, Sun, Jupiter, and Cancer. Sun and Jupiter together is a very great placement. But be careful because you can gain weight because Cancer is food, and Jupiter likes to expand. But the culinary arts you can really do well in. So if you like cooking, do you like cooking? Can you cook? Because that'd be a great placement. Um, Cancer moon. I'm a Cancer moon and Cap. So the moon and Cap is in opposition. You're probably a full moon baby. So that's great because then that gives you some nice balance. And that's really cool. That's it's oxymoron in a sense because Cancer represents emotion and feelings, but the moon represents that too. The moon's way over there in Capricorn, which is considered to be out of pocket. That's not bad though. I just see that more of definitely balance the energy with your parents because that those are heavy parental markings. Sun is dad, Moon is mom, Capricorn is dad, and then Cancer is mom. So those four things, you know what I mean, are parental in its nature. So you want to make sure that your relationships with your parents are pretty cool and whatnot. And I will find what is it that you nurture, that Cancer quality that you nurture? What is it that you nurture? Is it family that you nurture? Are you a big family person? Or is it more of taste and food in a sense? But whatever it is that you nurture, you're going to blow up, because the Sun and Jupiter combinations is considered the most beneficent energy in the solar system. And so the Sun, Jupiter, Venus are the good ones. The Moon is two-faced. The Moon switch sides. The Moon is neutral. So if the Moon is coupled with a negative energy, it'll be negative. Coupled with positive, it'll be positive. So it's neutral. Mercury's that way as well. Saturn and Mars, Pluto are more of the rogues, the gangsters, the issues in our psychology. Uranus and Neptune are more. Uranus is just a weirdo, and he's in his own league by himself, a genius, pure deep genius. And Neptune could be more deceptive, but also spiritual. They don't necessarily carry, like Mars is like, man, I done seen people, I done seen kids get hurt. And I can look at the mirror of Mars, what's taking place. I don't like to look at it like the energy is making you do something, because you can't make me do nothing in a sense. However, the energy does interface with you. And I've seen kids get hurt, like this stuff. They don't care about age, and don't care about none of that stuff. And so Mars is definitely a malefic energy. That's why I make a petition. In my older days, I'm gonna make a petition with enough compelling evidence that we need to blow it up. Death to Mars. All right. Oh yeah. So, I mean, Cancer is definitely intuitive because it's the moon for sure, and that's the realm of ancestors too. And so you can get a pass to have an ancestral altar. You know what I mean? Okay, your dad. See, you starting a hot sauce line, right? So I knew something dealing with food. So yeah, girl, do that hot sauce thing. Keep me posted with that. And then do a barbecue sauce. No, but nah, that's what's up. Man, why is Lucifer the light bearer? That's a good question. So again, I'll answer that question in theology, and not necessarily as this one divine intelligent being that's off somewhere under the earth in a pit of fire. Theologically speaking, man, there's a couple ways to go with that. You know what I mean? A couple ways to go with that, man. You have the principalities of darkness and light. What they would try to sell you on is light comes from darkness, and I disagree. Because if I take a prism and what's considered to be white light, and I split that light, I'm going to see Roy G. Biv. I'm see red, orange, yellow. I'm gonna see green, blue, and violet, right? I'm going to see what is quote unquote darker colors inside of white light. So darkness actually exists in the light. That's one. That's a fact. When you split light, you see darker colors. But colors are nothing more than a vibratory pitch of how fast the frequency is going. The slower, the darker, the faster, the lighter, right? But it's really one thing. So this concept of, if we say, hey, who creates everything in creation? It is I, God, who create everything in creation. Do you create evil? No, brother, the devil create evil. You lying. The scripture says, I, God, create evil and I create good. I, God, do all of these things. So the Lucifer concept, in a sense, is what I like to call the twin of God. And it exists as this simple yin yang, good, bad, up, down, cold, hot, male, female. It's this thing called polarity, also known as gender, right? That exists inside of every single thing. Everything from atoms to the electron is a negative spin and the proton is a positive spin. So Lucifer, the light bearer, is when you get to a particular place of darkness, also known as the night of the soul. This your darkest hour. You have no place to go but what? Up or into light. So therefore, in your darkest hour, if you prevail, and you will, then all of a sudden you get enlightened. You get this new sense of information, this new level of awareness based off the depth of darkness that you've been through. So in the darkness becomes the light, sure. But in the light is the darkness, and it's just a twin paradox. It's Cain and Abel. The very first reason why they hit you with Cain and Abel as the first story in the Bible is to get your mind to understand this concept of a twin. A twin is something that looks exactly alike, but one is good and one is evil. But they gave you that story again right before Cain and Abel, and they said, hey, there's 2 trees in the garden. And you got to pay attention to it. And this is the tree of knowledge. And if you eat of the tree of knowledge, you would know good and evil. And you would die if you eat of this. And then there was another tree, was just a tree of life. It wasn't a tree of life and death. Look, pay attention. One tree, good and evil, that's a duality, that's polarity. When you fall for the trick and eat of the tree of good and evil, and you start to see duality and polarity, the black man is God. No. The black woman is God. Her brain is more symmetrical. All of us come out the womb. No. We only come out the womb because I put the sperm in the womb. What are you talking about? No. We all start off as X chromosomes. The X chromosome is bigger. Once you fall for the trick of duality, you done. But when you have the tree of life, notice the tree of life don't say life and death. Death was on the other tree, the tree of duality. And so you got to understand that 1, it ain't no such thing as death. 2, it's all about energy transference and transformation. Therefore, you can't get stuck in the realm of duality. So this whole Cain and Abel thing of good and evil and all that stuff, and later that goes into the book of Job, and God having this conversation with the devil, my favorite book. He having a conversation with, he had a conversation with this nigga. He ain't killed the devil. He ain't arrested him, man. He was like, yo, devil, where you been at, nigga? The devil was like, hey, man, I just been going over here and there, man, minding my business, slithering around, man, doing what I do. Hey, man, you seen my dude? You seen my servant named Job? Yeah, I seen Job. Man, I tell you what, devil, I need you to test him, man. That's called a setup. That's a conspiracy. In law, you can't do that. You can't make plans to rob people and steal their cattle and inflict pain and financial burdens on people. Like they inflict pain on my man. That's battery. You can't do that. That's a crime, right? But God's having this conversation. And he's plotting with the devil on Job, right? But Job is a G. Job, Job's wife was like, hey, you better not curse God. And he said, woman, you sound foolish. If I can accept the good things for God, then why can't I accept the evil things from God? And then the scripture says, and for all that Job said, he said nothing wrong. So Job was like, listen, I ain't falling for the trick of duality. All of this is God. Even the ugly that I'm going through, this is God too. I ain't a fool. I know it's God. I ain't getting caught up on the devil doing this to me. And so Lucifer is the twin of God. This is why in some stories they say Lucifer is the twin of the archangel Michael, right? But who is Michael? Michael is one who is like God. That's what it means. And so then Lucifer is what? Lucifer is just a different form of God, and people miss that. You see what I'm saying? But again, the scripture says, "I create evil," and you go ask, "Who create evil?" God, Lucifer create the evil, brother. No. You missed the point. You totally missed the point. All right. Do you have an idea of aspects could have men always seeing you sexually or being a tad out of pocket even when he's attached to another woman? Lately, all my male friends are really, oh shit, K Brooks. Oh, you may got a transit going on. Then I got you. See, you may have a transit going on, K Brooks. Um, I mean, shit, man. I mean, it's just see, it seemed like you asking the question from a point where, hey, this ain't normal, and then all of a sudden, like, I got male friends that's hitting on me and stuff. So what could be happening could be, let's just hypothetically, like I know Mars is in Taurus right now, right? So let's just say you were born with Mars in Taurus or Venus in Taurus, right? Moon in Taurus, even, right? Now let's look at this. Venus represents beauty. Mars represents passion and sexual desire. The moon could represent your emotion and your feelings. So the planet Mars that's represent this masculine principle anyway is coming back to the same region of space where you just so happen to have these planets at when you were born. So now you're having like this Mars return type of energy. And what's happening as a mirror in your life is all these male energies in your life is like, girl, let's go. You know what I mean? So you're starting to have, it's just a mirror and whatnot. So you could be under a particular transit right now, since this is not normal. And I would need to see exactly what that is. I can find it. I just got to look at the birth chart and see what's going on and whatnot. But the unique thing is, since this is not normal, then hopefully it passes out as what transits do. Now, if it's more of a progression, then this may last a little bit longer than you would like and whatnot. But I have no way of knowing unless I see. But hey, have fun and use the energy wisely. Sounds very fun. All right. CH, what's the best way to handle Venus and Aries in the fifth house for a woman? Woo! Venus and Aries. I got Venus and Aries. All right. The best way for Venus in Aries in the fifth house. So, that is a playgirl marker. Have fun, because the fifth house is fun. Be romantic. It even can deal with, so if you have a love for children, you can put the energy there as well. You can win in gambling, casinos, things of that nature, especially when Jupiter comes around there. But that takes about 12 years, once every 12 years, that happens. I would just say have fun and be passionate about life, because Aries is all about the passion. The fifth house is about fire, creativity as well, so it's a double fiery energy. And the fire energy wants to be creative, it wants to go. So be free to be you and live your love, because that's Venus. Allow your love to shine unapologetically, very freely, because Aries is the pioneer and wants to be free and whatnot. And just I don't know if you should box that in and repress that. I think you should let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let the love shine. Just let it out. It's okay, let it out. Now have fun though. Seriously though, for real. Have fun in your expression. Because the fifth house again deals with arts, theatrical arts. Um, it's just very fun. So whatever it is that you like to do for fun, it's the perfect homie lover friend type of vibe. So it is because you got to remember the seventh house is more of the contractual agreement of relationships. The fifth house is what you doing tonight, and let's have fun. And I think that you can have fun in a loving way that allows that energy to flow and whatnot. Um, my opinion. That's my opinion. You know? All right. Is it normal or is just hella intense thing you want? Ah, see? I told you. I told you. I knew something. See? That's why I picked Mars and Taurus. I see. That means so I mean, yeah, it's normal right now, but Mars fading out. I mean, the energy can fade out though. You know what I mean? Energy definitely can fade out. See, Mars want to hit it and stick it. Mars don't have longevity. Mars rules Aries. Aries ain't really got longevity. So Mars want to come in and just have a passionate thing and whatnot. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You just can't necessarily trick yourself into believing that this is a longevity thing where it really possibly may not be a longevity thing. You know what I mean? Mars just wants the passionate crusade. It wants to conquer it for the timeline that it wants to conquer it for, and whatnot, right? It wants to beat it up, right? I'm sorry, with y'all straight up. That's what they want to do, though. They want to beat it up, all right? So hey, I can't tell you what to do, man. You just gotta figure it out. So you may have to go to the gym and sweat it out and work it off a different way. Or if you're in a relationship, throw your energy all into that. Or you may have to do self-pleasing techniques. I don't know, but right now your aura is reeking with that girl. I want to tear you up. That's what it say. That's the signal that you're broadcasting out into the field. Unbeknownst to you. You don't even know it. But you know it because you're starting to see a common denominator. Everybody is smelling you right now. You're releasing cosmic pheromones. You're releasing cosmic pheromones, man. Hey, I gotta excuse me, man. I'm being goofy today, man. But not real. But it's serious, man. I'm serious as a mug, K Brooks. For real, I'm dead ass serious. You really? Oh, I can't wait till I tell you this shit. Oh shit! Cosmic pheromones. Damn. Yo, that's a new topic. Oh man, I can't, man. I can't. All right, man. I'm sorry. All right, for real. I ain't messing with you, K Brooks, man. You got me wilding. All right. So anyway, man, what else y'all got, man? For real. Oh shit, man. I gotta write that shit down. Cosmic pheromones. God damn. Oh man. No, man, but for real though, seriously. I mean, y'all gotta really ponder what I'm saying though. Here it is, a woman, minding her business, and all of a sudden she getting male friends, they want to jump the fence, they wanna, they wanna get with her. So I'm like, well, shit, in my mind, I'm like, man, that's Mars. I know that very well. So I'll give an example. Mars is in Taurus right now in the sky as we speak, right? And then and I say, well, say hypothetically you just happen to have something in Taurus. And then she comes back and she's like, I got Venus and Mars and Taurus right now, so it's like, shit, I know something must be there in that area of space that's activating that. And so, and see, this is the thing though, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't looking at them. I'm not looking at the dudes. I'm looking at her. Like I could be looking at her by herself. So if I can see men around her based off that placement, and then she's having men in her life, wouldn't that mean like, well, shit, girl, something about your signal that you sending out at this particular point? Like, you're not doing it purposely though. You know what I mean? That's surely not your intent. It's just something about you that's radiating at a certain way at this time. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just got that, I wanna sex you up type of thing, man. What up, Katoosh? What's happening? I ain't seen you in a minute. All right. How do you determine your 21 day of prosperity? So that's a good question, man. It really depends. It really depends what you're using as your measurement. Good question, right? So like the Chinese say, hey, our new year is going to start when the sun and moon come together, called a new moon in Aquarius. On average, that's when we're going to start our Chinese New Year. And the Hebrew is going to be like, hey, no. We're going to start our Rosh Hashanah ahead of the new year when the sun and moon comes in Virgo. And then Islam says, no. We're going to start 1 month after you guys, and we're going to do it when the sun and moon come together in Libra. And so, here we got 3 different cultures are looking at 3 total different things that's taking place. United States may say, no. The new year is when the earth is closest to the sun and the earth is passing by the earth through earth and Sirius. So you got Sirius way over here, you got the sun over here, and the earth is passing through that little portal. And at the same time, the earth happened to be closest to the sun. It's around July the 3rd. It's known as the Perihelion. We're going to call January 1st the new year. And then Canada may be like, no. We're going to wait till July 1st, 6 months later, which is the aphelion, where the sun and the earth are furthest away from each other, and we're in a straight line with Sirius, and then we're going to call that our new year. So it depends on which you are observing. You have the right to observe any particular point you want to and start your point when it commences, whenever it is that you're looking aligns, if you're looking at something to align. So if you want to do when the new moon is in, because the moon we know represents the emotional mind or subconscious mind. The sun could be the conscious mind, the conscious light. So therefore the conscious and subconscious mind are in alignment. And it's the fact that the Chinese, the Islamic, and the Hebrews, they all deal with their new year, dealing with when these are in perfect alignment with one another. Again, they just pick what constellation that they want to put it in. So for you as an individual, you can say, hey, when is the new moon going to take place in my second house? Because at that particular point, I need to get hella focus on money for the next X amount of days. You know what I'm saying? But I'm waiting till that commences in my second house. Okay? Because you got 12 areas of space. Everybody does. It's like taking outside and drawing a circle and dividing it by, 12 plots of 30 degrees apiece. That's going to give you 360 degrees. And everybody got a northeast portion, which is the second house, which is the financial region. Okay? The northeast corner, or the cornerstone in the northeast direction, is really your money in astrology. The northeast portion of the chart is the second house, Jack. That's the foundation. So when you understand masonry and you start building edifices, you start building, like when you build city halls and things of that nature, if anybody is from the Masonic tradition, then they lay the northeast corner first, right? Well, I'm telling you, cosmically speaking, the northeast corner, and this is some cosmic feng shui shit, the northeast corner of any house is really your money house. So you need to figure out, where's the north at? Or where's the east? What direction did the sun come up? And whatever direction the sun come up, then you need to turn to the left, because that's going to be the northeast. All right, so start looking for your northeast corner. Technically, cosmically speaking, is your second house. All right, so you can get into the astro feng shui of this whole thing and really start seeing if it makes sense. Because I know one thing's for certain, Jack: the cosmos is real. Second thing is, a lot of people in relationships, they love the sunset on the beach. That's like the most romanticest thing ever for relationships, because the western portion of the sky, sunset, is the seventh house. That's called the descendant. The sun look like it's descending, it's going down. So it goes down in the west. So therefore, that's very romantic. But the seventh house is the seventh house of partnerships and marriages and whatnot. So the western portion of your house or the western wall of any room is the relationship wall. The southern portion is the career. That's when the sun is at its highest peak. You see what I'm saying? The north is more of a home energy or earth energy, an ancestral type of energy and whatnot. And you can actually start to grid out your own coordinates based off of this cosmic phenomenon. That's game, man. That's astro feng shui. That's how you really get into like you really want to create like some magic on some shit, man. Like man, you can get jiggy with this thing. Like super duper jiggy with it. Right? You can it's just so much you can do with it. You know what I mean? So much you can do with it. I always want to make a zodiac area rug. You know what I mean? They got the constellations on it. And then since the constellations are constantly rising in the east to the south to the west, because that's the only way you can see, the only way you can see them. Then if you know that Jupiter represents abundance, right? Then on your rug, you line your rug up to that particular direction of where it's at. It's like a combination lock. You're making the inner wheel match the outer wheel and whatnot. And then you get jiggy in your creativity. Oh man, you can create on earth real fast. Real fast. Real fast. Because the only thing you got to do is just marry intention with cosmic law. That's all I do. That's all I do, man. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, just observe like people on relationships, man. They be on what time? Let me know what time it is too. Please let me know what time it is. East Coast time. Um, but you just married a cosmic law, man. 122, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, but anything else though? I gotta put this other video up, man. I just wanted to kick the breeze with y'all. Man, nigga getting old, getting a little bald spot and shit. It's crazy when you get old. I can make it grow back, but I don't feel like it. It bothers me. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. 124. Yeah. But any other questions on anything real fast, man? I just wanted to come through, shoot the breeze with y'all. Man. Nina 513. Nina, you in Cincinnati? You down there? I ain't telling you, nah, Nina. Kabbalah. Cincy. You currently in New Orleans. That's what's up. Definitely get Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia. I heard it's a hardback now because the paperback, the glue ain't all that tight. I beat the pages off that thing. Get Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia. Dion's Fortune Mystical Kabbalah is good. But that's just the prep work on the theory. So you got to remember that an ounce of practice is better than a ton of theory. So you don't want to get stuck in the abstract theories of Kabbalah and the four worlds and this. Like, nah, if you know that, Kesset is Jupiter and Jupiter represent mercy or abundance, and then the archangels that you will learn from the Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic Encyclopedia at least, Zadikel is the angel of Jupiter, and Zadik means righteous. So the righteous of God. And you figure out that Zadikel's numerical number, when you break his name down in Hebrew, could be, let's just say, 333. So now you got to be creative enough to say, hey, at 3:33 a.m. or 3:33 p.m., I'm going to do a 3-minute and 33-second meditation on the Archangel Zadikel because that's his number. And it just so happens to be where I know Jupiter is right here because I know it. And so now, since Jupiter happens to be visible at the time, I'm going to make the time and the length of my meditation correspond to that principle that I'm going for. So the book is just to give you a blueprint, but you got to be creative enough to create off of it. And so if you constantly see, again, like, I just leave it right there in that sense. Again, I'm saying Zadikel. Zadikel is the angel. Okay, well, that's gonna ain't gonna do nothing for me if I don't invoke the angel, right? But if its number is 333, how about I do a 3 minute and 33-second meditation at 333 on Zadikel, which is the angel of Jupiter, represents abundance, and the planet is right there, and I'm just gonna happen to be in line with my meditation. So can you imagine, to a degree, like all planets they say have angels and archangels forces attached to them, but you sitting up here, you praying for XYZ, and you don't know that the energy is really right here, but you praying right here. But the energy is like hello, you don't even know where I'm at. You know what I mean? So to me, it gives me a better sense of awareness while understanding the astral science. Be like, okay, it's like an observatory. It's right there. There's the portal right there. So therefore, it's kind of like in Islam, when the Muslims face east when they pray, because the earth is spinning in that direction. They're not facing the west, they ain't facing no other direction. East, because we're going into that direction and whatnot. So it's kind of the same concept of lining yourself up and whatnot. So when you get those things, understand it's just giving you the basis, but a blueprint by itself don't do nothing. You're the architect. Then that's the whole thing. You are the architect, and that's the key. All right. Yeah, 333, man. In fact, my birthday, when you go all the way through, I ain't even into numerology. When you go all the way through, I'm a 33. Massive number. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome, Nina. You got it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia, Dion Fortune, Mystic Kabbalah. It's cool. That's where it is. Anybody else? Anybody else? Got another one? Yeah, I ain't messing with you, K Brooks, man. You had me cracking up. One more question. Do you see Jupiter transiting through your 12th as possible affair activity? It was mentioned from another astrologer. Yeah, well, see, the house is the house of secret enemies, secrecy. The unique thing, though, is Jupiter through the 12th will usually protect you. So it could be, and Jupiter's big, right? So it could be big secrets, big secret enemies as well. But Jupiter is the truth, and Jupiter is the law bringer. So you got to remember, not too long ago, when Jupiter was going through Scorpio, that was the Bill Cosby, that was the Harvey Weinsteins, that was like the beginning of the whole Me Too shit, because Scorpio represents sex and secrets, and Jupiter represents the law. So Jupiter is the law, and the 12th house is also the house of lockup. I don't necessarily see it as affairs, but it depends what's going on with Jupiter per se. Like if you hypothetically say Jupiter is the ruler of your 8th house, Sagittarius rules your 8th, so Jupiter is the ruler of your 8th, and the 8th house is the house of sexual secrets. Then it can make more sense. But the 12th house is definitely secret enemies and underhanded stuff, but it's not sexual in nature unless it's connected to it another way and whatnot. And there's various ways that you can determine that. If Jupiter is connected to that via from your own personal chart. So we have to see it in totality. I think that we're all here to gain experiences, right? And you're here to understand why we made the decision. That's the key. Why did we make the decision? Each action creates a reaction. Jupiter to the 12th really wants truth, spiritual illumination, the expansion of spiritual consciousness, the ability to be able to foresee, because the 12th house, the ability is intuition. So the ability to be able to foresee. Jupiter represents higher consciousness. So it wants you to have higher consciousness in your ability to be able to foresee. Jupiter don't never want you to participate in nothing bogus. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But, I can't tell you not to do it in a sense. But if you're going to regret it, don't do it. Be strong. K Brooks, be strong. All right. All right. He's creative. Oh man, without knowing all right, so the goal is you always want to get in on we got to learn how to get in this groove where we constantly on, because I got this theory that I believe what happens is once you get to a certain plateau. All right, see, this is it. You want to become like Christ. The 12 disciples are the 12 zodiac signs. Okay. Christ, known as the Lamb of God, was the age of Aries. The first person he met was Pisces, was the two fishermen, Peter and his brother. That's the procession of the equinoxes. The procession of the equinox go backwards. So the Lamb is Aries. He meets the fisherman, which is Pisces, and then they go holler at John the Baptist and get that water baptized on them, right? And that water gonna pour on them, which is Aquarius. So this is a procession of the equinox story, and it goes backwards. But Jesus Christ himself is really the master of the 12 disciples. He's the 13th. He's Christ consciousness. He's the one that has the thorn around his head, the crown around his head. He's the one that's buried at Golgotha, the place of the skull. So he's the one that is illuminated. He's the master. He's the one that's saying, hey, I don't care if it's the winter. Look out in the field. Now shit's growing. I want you to be able to reach a plateau of consciousness where you're always on and you're not dependent upon seasons to bring forth certain things. Now, that's a tough parable, because you ain't gonna plant nothing in the winter and think it's gonna grow and it physically grow. But the point that you could work yourself to get there, to get in this constant groove where it's always on, like the wealthy, where it's always on. Because once you get to a certain level of happiness, I call it DJ Khaled. Although Khaled got chipped up a good time when he messed his leg up on that jet ski, taking the back route to Puffy's house, cut his leg up real good on a nice little transit. But for the most part, his energy is consistently enough happy that it's always really a good time in a sense. Now, there are more times that are a little bit more prime, but my point is, if you don't know your time of birth, and you want to attempt to get into cosmic groove with something, then just wait for a new moon. That's all. Just wait for the sun and moon to align on a new moon, because it represents the subconscious and conscious mind. And then just go forward from that particular point. And every day, it's the reinforcement of what you're creating is more important than anything. What is the vibe you're giving off today? What is your etheric stamp that you're leaving in the ethers today? Did you have a negative day or did you have a positive day? Can you practice gratitude every single day? Right? That's key. Can you really get in the state of gratitude every single day? And so again, you will always be on. You know what I mean? And that's the goal. Like, how can I always be on? But even me knowing that, I still do, because I know my chart so well. I know when it's I know when it's my Venus time of the year. You know what I'm saying? I know when it's money house time of the year. And I just know certain points throughout the year that are more beneficial to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so you gotta know those things, and that just comes with understanding your own chart too, man. You know what I mean? Brett, man, good astrology book is Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. I think it's the only astrology book you really need, in my opinion. I love that book. Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. All right. Um, oh man, I appreciate it, man. The bars about the American Negro being more Aboriginal than African, forced labor, migrants. What about Lincoln and his action against Indians? All right, man. Now, man. Oh, you want to go there, man? You want to go there? He committed mass genocide against hella Indians that were in the territories. Oh shit! You want to go there? All right, man. I appreciate it. All right, so here's the thing, man. So I'm salty with Native Americans, um, because Native Americans did not launch an offensive campaign with the intention on ending slavery. They didn't intervene. And it's cool, maybe it wasn't none of their business. But something that they did do, which was 100% bogus, was the 5 civilized tribes, Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, them 5, Seminole, Chickasaw, they participated in slavery. In 1866, 1 year after the Civil War was over, and also a year after the 13th Amendment was passed, the United States government had to tell the Choctaw and the Chickasaw, no, Choctaw and the Creek. Look it up. It's the 1866 treaty with the Creek. They had to tell them to stop enslaving black folks. Like, what y'all doing is out of pocket. Y'all need to stop it. Because the government understood that the Native Americans had their own territory inside of the southern states still. And, they didn't, they had their own rules and laws. And the Cherokee had more black slaves than any of them. But it was just so bad that, again, it was the United States government who literally had to step in the 1866 treaty with the Creek. Y'all need to go pull it up and look at it. They're explicitly telling them, stop enslaving African Americans. Stop it. It's just not cool. So not only did they not launch a physical attack, they took on the ways of the Europeans and participated in slaves. And then some of them were slaves too. But that's why when I did that Wish Free joint, that remixed the Meek Mill joint, I'm like, yo, let's rewind the tell the whole story. Black folks had white slaves, whether you was up in Spain and you thinking you the shit with Becky on your dick, enslaved a white men, and then it went Confederate. Oh shit. Like, wait a minute, nigga. 7-Eleven, you up in Spain, you thinking you the shit. You got white chicks, you got your Beckys, you know what I'm saying? You got your Ambers, you got your Amber Rose, you got your Kardashians back then, you doing your thing. You thinking you the dude, and you enslaving white men. There's a book called They Were White and They Were Slaves. All right? So you had white folks that were slaves too. You had white folks enslaving white folks. And then you had black folks enslaving black folks. Then you had black folks enslaving white folks. Then you had white folks enslaving Native Americans and black folks. Native Americans enslaving black folks. So everybody has participated in this great moral wrong. But the thing is, now, can you even open your mouth, morally speaking, karmically speaking, to say that you're justified to have reparations. Because I mean, if that's the case, shit, then the Native Americans owe you money too. If that's what it's about, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna owe everybody something. You know what I mean? Now where the black person may get off the hook at is he wasn't doing it on this soil. It hasn't been proved that he was a slave master on this soil, on other races, but it has been proven that you have black slave owners um, on this land mass. And so, but to answer your question, historically speaking, man, I think that the Native Americans, since they did not intervene on behalf of black folks, karmically speaking, they lost their land behind that, and that land became absolutely critical for its chess. I always see them as pawns in the game. They get their territories removed, taken away from them, and then what would happen is anything that was north of 36 degrees latitude and anything west of the Mississippi River, all of that is supposed to be territory that was going to come into the United States that ain't going to have no slaves. And so there was a takeover that happened inside of government as early as 1787 at the Philadelphia Convention, also known as the Constitutional Convention, where this is when they're making the Constitution. So you got to remember, the United States didn't start in 1776. That was an idea, a declaration on paper. It was already at war in 1775, the Battle of Concord. They're already at war. In the middle of the war, they decide to draft up a paper to say, God damn it, we standing on this. This is a Declaration of Independence, and it's time we gonna die. We still fighting, but we gonna see who gonna be the winner. That goes all the way to 1783 for 7 years, man. I mean, you imagine 7 years fighting. So 1783 is the Treaty of Paris. King George gives up. He's like, man, I ain't fighting y'all no more. I'm sick of y'all. Y'all win, bump it, be America, do y'all thing. Treaty of Paris. So the United States is official in 1783. You ain't got to fight no more. 4 years later is the Constitutional Convention. How are we going to create a new country? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Well, in that meeting, slavery is brought up. And they say, hey, the slave thing, man, we got to put a stop to this shit. It's bogus. It don't reflect who we are as the United States of America. South Carolina and Virginia, what are you talking about, man? We get money. That's how what? We ain't part of this new America thing. You ain't with slavery. So now you got a big ass dilemma that's taking place just 4 years in your founding. Can you afford to go to war now? All over again with your own? I'll tell you what, we're going to have to come up with some compromises though, man. In 20 years, you ain't going to be able to send niggas out of here, man. That got to stop in 20 years. 20 years. All right, cool. 20 years, no problem. Then the 3/5 compromise comes up as well. It has nothing to do with you as a black person, you're only 3/5 of a human being. I mean, it has nothing. That is the biggest farce ever, and that's how much we under the spell because we hear legends and hearsay and we take it as actual facts. And I'm gonna do the study, but I want y'all to do the case study. Like, go outside and just ask a family friend, hey, you remember 3/5? What was that about? And I guarantee you, most people are gonna be like, hey, man, 3/5 meant that it has something to do with our value. They didn't even see us as a whole human being. That's messed up. And they're going to go there with it. And that's a popular legend. 3/5, as I said in that particular, was the North way of coming up with an idea to cripple the power of the South. And so at that time, it was 600 something thousand slaves on the census of the 1790 census. And they would have had 21 representatives in Congress. The South would have had 21 representatives in Congress. Well, we only gave them 12 representatives because we gave them 3/5. So 3/5 was, you can't count all of your slaves because then you're going to outnumber the North, who was 100% against slavery. So you're going to outnumber us, okay? So we can't allow you to do that. And they bid for that. And that was the beginning of their demise when they did that. They fell for the okie doke and whatnot, because they should have had 21 representatives to represent the slavery in Congress, and they didn't. They only had 12 instead of 9. So we crippled their power by 40%. And so, this is on the record in 1787 that, the slavery thing it needs to be a wrap. And again, to answer your question about the Native Americans thing, though, like, what are they doing? They're not doing anything. So also in 1787, the Northwest Ordinance which is the new NWO, the real New World Order is the Northwest Ordinance. And so they're saying, hey, anything that's east of the Appalachian Mountains, Pennsylvania, but north of the Ohio River, Ohio, but west of the Mississippi, east of the Mississippi, which is going to be now pretty much Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. These territories called the Northwest Ordinance, no slaves are allowed here. The 1787. No slaves are allowed here. Period. Okay? But see, now you got Native American camps everywhere. The Shawnee is in Ohio. Tecumseh is, he would later in 1812, he gonna roll with the Brits, and he don't want the white man on the land, period, which I totally understand. But my opposition to that is, wait a minute, the slaves here and y'all ain't doing shit about it, then y'all need to lose the land, because it's an immoral injustice to see a wrong happening and you don't do absolutely nothing about that wrong. So y'all just minding y'all business. In fact, y'all doing trade with them, and y'all know that the trade is based off the free labor of slaves. So y'all actually empowering slavery. And down south, like I said, y'all actually have slaves too. So y'all real bogus. So now we need this land in these territories, because as these territories now come inside of the United States government, they're going to come in as free states. And when they come in as free states, this is how we're about to start to check the slave states and ultimately do away with them and outnumber them, and then go to war and beat them as well. And so then you have things like the Missouri Compromise in 1819, 1820, when they saying, hey, no slaves above 36 degrees latitude. And then about 1854, which would be 4 years later, 1854 is the Kansas-Nebraska Act, where they like, man, the hell with the Missouri Compromise. If Kansas and Nebraska and anybody else, if y'all want to have slaves, y'all got the right to vote on it. It's y'all business. Don't let the federal government tell y'all what y'all can do. This was called popular sovereignty, which was a component of Stephen Douglas, who Abraham would debate in 1858 before he becomes president. And so again, now Missouri wants to come in as a slave state. But to combat that, they said, okay, Missouri, you want to come in? It's 11-11. We got 11 free, 11 slave. Missouri, you want to come in as a slave? Okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to create a new state called Maine. And Maine, y'all going to come in as a free state, because we got to check that. This is a fact. So this is some art of war shit. When I'm looking at the history, I'm like, damn, this is real dope. Because there's somebody inside of government that clearly, known as the Free Staters, that's clearly in objection to slavery. Clearly. And they did that. Like, Missouri come in as a slave state. We're going to go get Maine. And Maine, y'all going to come in. Right? And so then Maine comes in. And so, but again, these territories where these Native Americans are will later all become free territories where slavery is not allowed, which if anybody, now people who have already been in these territories, white men, y'all gonna join the Union if you don't specifically go join the Confederates. And so since you join the Union and we slightly bigger army and whatnot, then we gonna roll on the South when they started the Civil War. And so the Native Americans, black folks was their karma. For them not doing something for black folks, and actually enslaving black folks, the Trail of Tears is justified in my mind, in my karma book, of what happened. You know what I mean? So you don't have your territory. You don't have no land, because you was a, and it's documented too. Black slaves, red masters. It's documented. Like, go look up the Choctaw 1866 treaty and watch how many times the United States government specifically telling them to treat niggas with respect and stop slavery. But that side of the story is just never told. You know what I'm saying? And we not the same people. No, no, we not. We're not the same people. There's a clear distinction in the memoirs of war generals when they're describing black folks and Native Americans. We're not the same people. Now, did we mix with some of them? Of course, yeah. You had black folks, black slaves, Native American slaves on white plantations, and they're mixing with people, and you part of them, and you mixing with them, on whether you on their plantations as well. So then, of course, my great grandmother is Cherokee and stuff. We was all at one point in time we was huddled up with each other. You know what I mean? But are we absolutely the same people? No, we're not the same people. And the record shows that. There's a clear distinction there. And so that's how I feel about it, man. You know? You know? Yeah, man, the Indian man, the Native American, he bogus, man. He real out of pocket, man, for real. Um, where they get their slate? Now they got them from, they down south. They was down south. They got their fair share of them, especially the Cherokee. They got them. You know, the five civilized tribes, as they call them. All right, so the meaning of two people having the same North Node in Sag in the 11th, South Node in Gemini. Yeah. Man, so, those nodes, Johnny, are about 19 years, 18-year intervals. So I don't think y'all would be 18 years apart, but even if so, that's dope. Probably be the same generation, same year, unless it's an 18-year gap because they roll in every 18-year cycles. But the same nodes, man, is just really saying, hey, y'all got the same soul's mission, same growth patterns that y'all need to really work on and whatnot. And the past is the same. I like the North Node a lot, but the North Node don't come easy. It's really malefic. So Mars pattern hits the node. It's a point of contention of where you must grow and whatnot for the soul's evolution. So to have the same node is sort of basically saying, hey man, we got the same soul's purpose and whatnot. Yeah, so y'all the same age, right? Because it takes 18 years for that alignment to come back. Looking at a chart and the nodes are both right in the same houses. Yeah, so then y'all got the same soul's mission, soul's growth. And what happens sometimes, man, that mirror is so mirroring. It's like, it's like being with myself. No, too much. And we weird, man. The human experience is weird. You know what I mean? You want somebody that's like you, but then you want somebody that's opposite you. You know what I mean? Like, what do you really want? You know what I mean? So you just got to make your mind up, man. That's why compatibility is everything, but compatibility can only be defined based upon what your goal is and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And what's compatible to that. You know what I mean? The first slaves were these American Indians. They were calling Negroes, bro. I would agree, man. I would agree that, hey, they were enslaved before black folks showed up as slaves and whatnot. I don't got no disagreement with that. You know what I mean? But my whole thing is everybody at some point in time had slaves, and it just wasn't all black slaves. Like everybody was participating in a great immoral wrong. You know what I mean? And if we can see that truth, you know what I'm saying, then we all can put our best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? Because in one breath too, like can we wholeheartedly say the United States of America owe reparations when it was the United States of America, the only freaking flag that was like, oh, South Carolina, you want to shoot at us? Oh, okay, it's wartime. Now, Bob, now I'm going to issue an executive order called the Emancipation Proclamation that all the slaves is going to be free in the rebellion states of the South. But that's an executive order. They ain't the law of the land. So now what I need to do is I need to get the 13th Amendment passed by Congress because that's going to be law of the land. So now I got an executive order passed. I got the law of the land passed on on the 13th Amendment. I'm also going to create the Homestead Act of what, 62, I think it was, where Lincoln said, hey, anybody who owns some land west of the Mississippi River, you just got to be like 18 years old, stay on the land for like 5 years or something, and it's going to be yours. And guess who can't have some? Any white man that's at war against the United States called Confederates. Your white ass can't have no land. Black folks, y'all want some land? Go ahead and go get it. Homestead Act 1862. So I'm going to give y'all land. I'm going to set y'all free by executive order. I'm going to also bring up the 13th Amendment, which is a legislative order, which is going to become the law, and you're going to be free. And then after your freedom, I'm going to create something called the Freedmen's Bureau that's going to assist you in your successful transition into society and be that point between the United States government and that buffer to make sure that the Confederates, i.e. the Ku Klux Klan, ain't going to be giving y'all no problems. The problem is Lincoln got murdered April 9th. April 14th, actually. April 14th, about a week later after General Lee died, General Lee surrendered April 9th. April 14th, Lincoln is shot in the head. April 15th, he dead. Andrew Johnson comes in as the president, who's also, he was the vice president, but the president, but he's a slaveholder from Tennessee. See, again, it's the takeover. The country is so thick that you had to pair Lincoln up with a slaveholder vice president just to save face, in a sense. Not to, because we already had civil war, but we need to put this thing, like, this shit is costly. People dying. Economies is getting wrapped. Nobody wants war. You trust me, you don't want it. So to kind of, justify some things and calm it down, come on, Andrew Johnson, Democrat, slaveholder, come over here and roll with us as the vice president, but you're going to serve up under Abe. Okay, cool, no problem. Abe's dead. Now he rescinds 40 acres and a mule, which is Special Field Order number 15. All right, he gives the land back to the white boys, the slave owners. Here, it's y'all land, y'all can have it. Okay, and then later, my battery about to die, so I'm a jet. And then later, at the, who was that? One of the presidents come in, and who was that? Rutherford. Rutherford comes in. There's a big ass debate between Rutherford and I think the Democratic Southern white boy was Tinley. And it's so close in the election that they about to do this whole thing over again. But Rutherford won, and he like, listen, let me have the presidency and win. Rutherford B. Hayes. And I tell you what, all of the Union troops, because they divided the South into 5 military districts. All of the Union troops, I'm going to withdraw them, and y'all can go on about y'all business. Slavery's over, though, but I'm going to remove the Union soldiers from down there to make sure y'all doing the right thing. And then this is when the Klan gets super duper active in their thing. So the United States, in one sense, dropped the ball, and they have to admit that they dropped the ball with Rutherford B. Hayes and things like that, Andrew Johnson, things like that, absolutely. But the United States also came in and instituted some things where we ain't slaves no more. It was the United States, it wasn't nobody else. That's why I'm saying, like, everybody's imperfect. Everybody is imperfect, man. Everybody's imperfect. So the best thing that we can do is put the best foot forward and say, well, what's the best you can do? The best you can do is say, hey, the southern states who left the United States of America, then I tell you what, your 20% that you getting from the feds, that's going to get sliced in half. You're going to get 10 because the other 10 is going to go to this reparation bill, period. And as the federal government, we chipping in on that as well because we understand we dropped the ball. Black folks, what you going to do too? Man, you need to pitch something in too. Because you the same people, you so sick, the water in Flint so messed up, you don't even fix it and you blame the man for not fixing it because you mentally sick. That's a sickness. So, but you need to do something too, right? Everybody need to do something. Everybody, all right? All right, so I got to go, man. I just wanted to build with y'all real fast. Leonard, I answer that real fast. When you have your natal chart, do you evolve according to your chart laid out, or do you evolve? Yeah, you progress. You actually progress into different energies, but you always you. And so the energy is inside of you anyway. You know what I mean? Aries is the head, Pisces is the feet, all the way down. The energy's in you. So you may have different expressions. So at one point in time, as Leonard, you was at the strip club, you was in the dope gang. Let me not project my life onto you. I was in the strip club, I was in the dope gang, I was Neptunian. right? That's the negative principle of Neptunian. Then I may switch that and go spirituality, meditation, and esoteric subject matters and things of that nature. Oh, now that's that side, right? So my eighth house energy, stellum, sex. Oh, okay, cool. Strip club. Okay, now let that turn into joint finances. Yo, prosperity investment group. Let's go invest in real estate. Let's go do that. Now, you see what I'm saying? So you evolve, man. You evolve. And all energies got a duality, and you got the right to pick which ones you want to activate at whatever point you are in your own development. All right, and that's what that is, man. So with that, man, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be on the lookout for it, but you can go over to theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. Go to the shop tab, man. Click on shop. Just click on it. You're gonna see that prosperity, poverty to prosperity DNA challenge. Jump on that. It's coming up the 10th of April. All right, April 10th to April 30th. And you need me, feel free. Holla at me. Buzz.